This
Tuscany.
conference will now be recorded.
Treat today. We have Lieta, one of our experts, who will be talking about this journey. Unique thing about it, it is Italy, but it's unique Italy. It's small. We'll be staying in small towns and villages in some really great places, but the opportunity to really explore Italy. So it is a trip that we're planning for September 4th through 11th, and Lieta will talk about it. But obviously, anytime you want to travel to Italy, we can make this happen for you. With that, I want to go ahead and tell you a little bit about Travel Central. So Travel Central's been in business since 1988. We've been 33 years in business. And since then, we've been designing vacations around the world. Europe is one of our top destinations. We have several travel advisors who that's what they specialize in. We have two travel advisors who are actually Condé Nast experts and travel specialists, as well as other recognitions throughout the office. Our only goal when we book vacations is to start from the planning process to your return home to make your vacation as seamless as possible, find the best, using our resources and expertise to find you the best value possible, as well as try to enhance it with added amenities. The great thing about using a travel advisor is, I think the number one thing is your one advisor is dedicated to you. When you call into the office, you ask specifically for that person, and they will be able to answer your questions and solve any challenges you might have and be your advocate in issues that might occur while traveling. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lieta. Lieta's been in the business. She started about 20 years ago, and really she started with Europe, and that is her favorite destination. So this year she's doing Italy, and she'll talk a little bit about that. Thank you, Lieta. Go ahead and take it over. Lieta, you still on mute? Lieta, we can't hear you. Lieta, we can't hear you. We'll be with y'all back in just a minute. We have some little technical difficulty. You know, after the holidays, you forget how to do things. But we should be getting started in just a minute. While we're waiting, I can tell you that people are traveling now. We do keep up with all the current travel restrictions and documentation that's required, and make sure that all of our travelers know what's needed before they travel. Um,
Okay, you can all hear me now, right?
Yes. And one more thing that we have Leda back on the line. If everyone could stay muted, it'd make a much better presentation. So we won't hear any background noise as we're trying to present. So I appreciate that. If you could stay muted while you're on the presentation. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll make sure to answer them right now. And yes, we do finally have sound. And the first question though is, what is the picture of on the first page, Leda? And then go ahead and start your presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. I've been in travel now for 25 years. I have been in technology webcamming for about 20 minutes. So let's just get that out there. So, okay. I'm going to point out that little hill town. I can't remember off the top of my head what the name of it is. I know that I'll come upon that. We are going to be talking about a wonderful trip to Tuscany and Umbria. And we're going to be visiting locations that you can't go to by train, which makes them remote. It also makes them off the beaten path, and that little hill town is one of them. So I'll point that out when I get to it. I am going to turn off the camera because I get distracted by myself, and then I'll just pop it back on at the end. Okay, so this particular trip is going to be taking place in September, starting on the 4th. It's for 8 days, 7 nights, and it's going to be starting in a town called Ostia, really Lido de Ostia, and that is really, really close to the Rome airport, only about 20 minutes away. We'll have 1 night in Ostia, and then we're going to go touring up into Umbria. And then we'll be there for 3 days, and then we'll be touring through Umbria into Tuscany, where we'll be staying in Tuscany for 4 days, and then back from Tuscany down back into Ostia. So one of the questions that I thought was really good was, what is Umbria? Umbria is a region, just like Tuscany is a region, and you can compare it to the Napa Valley wine region as opposed to Calistoga. So Umbria is the lesser known, less traveled region that moves up into Tuscany. A lot of people say they prefer it. I mean, it's really all gorgeous to me, to be honest with you. But Umbria is going to have more of a Roman partnership, obviously, because it's closer to Rome. So again, 2 nights in Ostia, 3 in Spoleto, which is Umbria, 3 in Sienna, which is Tuscany. This trip that we'll be talking about is going to be completely unique. There isn't anything like it now for us travelers. It's a brand new way of traveling, and I'm really excited to share that with you. And we're going to refer to this as choice touring. And basically, in Umbria and Tuscany, you'll be able to pick things like that you want to do. That doesn't necessarily mean everybody is going to be doing them. So you have choices like biking, cooking, painting, golfing, visiting waterfalls, for example, and on and on. There's some prices down on here. We'll get to that at the end. Because it's so close to Rome, you can put this week trip before or after Rome if that's what you'd like to do. So I'm going to just kind of talk about a Rome extension if that is something that you care to do. Otherwise, this is a nice trip that you can fit into a European trip or an Italy trip that you may already have arranged. You can go to Venice, you can go to Amalfi Coast and whatnot. Again, this is a week in Tuscany and Umbria. Okay, so we're going to start off with Ostia. If anybody's Italian out there and you know that I'm pronouncing these things correctly, I will get my correction on how to pronounce them when I am there traveling with you. That's the other thing I wanted to tell you. I will be going on this particular trip, so I welcome you to travel with me. I do a trip like this once a year, and I do really like traveling with my friends and my clients. So we're going to start off in Ostia, and where you can, again, this is everything before and after this trip can be completely customized and modified to whatever you're doing. So just take it with a grain of salt. But if you like to fly into Rome, you'll be picked up and you'll be taken to Ostia. It's only 20 minutes from the Rome airport and about 40 minutes from Rome, depending on traffic. So I would have to say more like an hour from Rome, depending. You will meet at the hotel. You'll meet the tour director and me there, and all the others that will be traveling on this particular trip with us. Now, Ostia is really fascinating because it was the closest harbor to Rome. It was a very, very important city for Rome, obviously. And then it was buried for 10 centuries, abandoned after the fall of Rome, air quote, and then recently rediscovered. There is a huge amphitheater. You can see that at the top of the screen, and some amazing ruins. A lot of people who visit Rome will take day tours out to Ostia just to see these ruins. So if you decide to come in a day early or stay a day late, and I'll give you that little surprise gift Travel Central has for you, a little sneaker, you can actually go out and visit these ruins on your own, taking your own time with them. Ostia is on the beach. It is a beach town, and it's even rumored to be a mafia beach town, as interesting as that is. So after one night in Ostia, we're going to take off and go visit Umbria, um, where we will eventually land in Spoleto for 2 nights. And this is the town, whoever was wanting to know what that little hill town was. You can see the people walking up into it. Viterbo. We'll be able to stop along the way. There's going to be a guided walking tour of it. I don't know how long it's going to take. It seems very small, but then we'll have free time to explore, and you'll have time for lunch on your own. Again, I just want to let you know that that's the amazing thing about seeing Umbria and Tuscany this way. There is a lot of independence and a lot of free time that you'll have to go off and do your own thing. No little 5-minute stops. After we visit this adorable perched rock hill town, we'll arrive in Spoleto. And as I said, we'll be there for 3 days. This place is gorgeous. That's the picture up at the top. It's exactly what you think Umbria is like. Ancient arches. There's an amphitheater there. It was a really important Roman colony. So this is where we will rest our head for a few days. The great thing is also, as we're moving from city to city or village to village, however you want to put it, along the way, when we were on our coach, we're going, like you see, we stop along the way and explore on our own. So we don't just have a useless day wasted, that it'll be really optimized by having the ability to go in and see these beautiful little places along the way. Loads of surprises and lots of great food. Which leads me to also say in the evenings, you are free to explore and eat where you want. Myself and also the tour director will be able to point you in the directions if that's what you're looking for. Plus, of course, you can do some research on your own, which I highly recommend. I am a food and wine travel advisor, so it's very important to me. You'll always see me in markets grabbing food, putting it in a food bag, pulling it out on the coaches and nibbling along the way. Obviously, I mean, Tuscany and Umbria, that's what it speaks. Now for the really exciting part. The next day, what you would think would be that free open day in Spoleto, you will get to decide on what choice tour you want to do. And here are your options. One of the options is to do truffle hunting in Umbria. This is so cool. You'll go out with some locals. Obviously, they're still using dogs. I don't use pigs anymore, but I don't want to give too much away. I want this to be an experience for yourself. And off with the local farmers doing truffle hunting. And if you know anything about pasta and truffles, they are the best partners. Another option is to go see this Roman-made waterfall. And it says it's created to drain the swamps above the river, and so this is definitely one of those trekking, hiking experiences if that's what you want to do, hiking through this area. You'll go with a naturalist, and the other option is to go to a completely unheard of little town and going through more of Umbria. And again, you'll see, because it's so close to Rome, that you'll have all sorts of Roman ruins and options for you. And it's also the birthplace of St. Valentine. So you've got that. After we are there for 3 days, we depart. And we're going to go from Spoleto now, leaving Umbria and going into Tuscany. And we're going to visit the town of Perugia. I'm really bad at that name, before arriving into Sienna. And this is really an overlooked town. It's a really gorgeous place. I mean, I've put people staying in here, and it's fantastic. It's again, one of the reasons is if you don't want to drive a car, you're not going to be able to get to these places because they're not on the high speed train routes. So it's a wonderful opportunity by staying out there to not spend your time transferring from the big cities to do day tours and spending 4 hours just getting here just to spend an hour to come back. You're just right in Umbria, so there's no seat time, I call it, where you're just sitting on a bus trying to get out to a location. You're staying in it. So so as we do the guided tour of this town, again, free time for lunch before we get into Sienna. Now, Sienna is only 35 miles from Florence. If anybody's into Rick Steves, you know he loves Sienna. And this is going to be our home for the next 4 days. Sienna definitely is beautiful. We've got the artists had created the color of sienna. It's this beautiful taupey brown color. So artists from all over the world for a long time have been going there just to paint the colors. And again, in the evening, the town is yours to explore. The hotel is right in the center. All the hotels are right in the center, so you can just walk. So the next 2 days, you will now have the option to do your choice tours. And here are the things that you can choose to do. So they'll take you into Florence, where you can go ahead and do a bike tour of Florence. Now, Florence, you would think it's not like Rome, where it's got a lot of cars. It's a lot of pedestrian streets, so it's really easy to bike around, and it's not as intimidating as you think. But boy, there's a lot of little alleys and a lot of little streets that you just certainly couldn't cover in a day on feet. So biking around is a great way to do it. And all of these choice experiences will have some sort of food moment in there for you too. I mean, I don't want to brush past the fact that this is heavily influenced on foods and wines. So they're going to take you into secret spots, and you'll be able to, explore Venice by bike with lunch in a local restaurant. Or you can do a cooking class. So there are a couple different ways to do cooking classes. There's cooking demonstrations and there's cooking classes. And your personal chef will assist you on preparing, and that is the thing. So it's not watching somebody cook. You are actually cooking and then eating. So ever want to take a traditional Tuscan cooking class? This is your opportunity to do that. Another option is to go into Florence and actually see the main sites, not by bike, but get in there and actually see the sites and have a traditional T-bone steak. The Florentine T-bone steak. That is a big piece of meat, folks. So, and they take it real seriously. I don't know if you've ever been to Florence, but this is something that you have to come hungry for. That is for sure. So exploring and eating Florence is another day trip you can take at your choice. Another option that you can do is, does anybody know what picture this is from? If you are a Twilight fan, this may look familiar to you. This is going back deeper into the small towns of Tuscany. So Volterra. This is right by San Gimignano. I don't know if anybody knows that town, but it's the next little hill town closest to San Gimignano. And it's another fortified, beautiful town discovered 3,000 years ago. and it's one of Italy's oldest cities. So exploring, and that's the greatest thing about this. You're not seeing 4 different places in like a whistle stop capacity. You're going to these small villages, and you're really immersing yourself in that experience. And you will also have local guides with you. So you have me, you have your tour director. The tour director is really busy behind the scenes doing the things that are freeing us all up to really enjoy ourselves, and arranges for us to meet in Volterra with a local guide, so we get to really know the history of these places firsthand from a local. So that is going to be an incredible experience. Another option that you can do with your choice touring is take a painting class. I've done this on trips, and it was probably one of my favorite excursions I ever did. I mean, talk about slowing it down. I really love to do these things. I love art. I like to, one of the little paintings I recently did in France is sitting right on my thermostat. So every time I go to the thermostat to turn it on and off and on and off, because we're in that season, I see this and it reminds me of my trip, and it's my favorite souvenir. But yeah, you'll be able to do watercolors and canvas. Now they're not big pieces, so they're not going to take up your suitcase, so you don't have to worry about that. They're quite small. So it won't be that big of a deal for those people who like to travel with a carry-on like I did in France last time. But this is a beautiful option for you to do, and you have the time because you're in Tuscany. Another option is you can golf. So I really like this as an example of choices that you have, that you don't have to go and do the same thing every single person is doing. If your travel partner wants to golf and you want to paint, go for it. You know what I mean? It's come with us painting, and that your travel partner can go golfing with the others. It's okay. We don't have to do everything together. So that's a really great option. Again, you have the time, so you don't have to feel guilty about taking a day away from your trip to go golfing. Now, this isn't just golfing, though. This golf course is in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful location in Tuscany at the Royal Golf what is it? I can't even pronounce the resort. This place is beautiful. It's like a big compound. You can also go, if you don't want to golf, you can go to this, and you can go to the thermal springs that they have there, which is going to be really nice. So one person golf, the other person can go and enjoy the facilities in a world-class spa. After we are done with Sienna, and again, I just want to let you know that, when we're staying in these towns, we're also having an orientation walking tour. So you're not just, don't know what you're doing in Sienna or in Spoleto. But so we have one more night in Ostia. And when we leave Sienna, we're going to be going to 2 little regions, 2 little hill towns before we get back to Ostia. And this little place has only 11 residents in it. I wish I should put a different picture in it, but you'll just have to come and see it for yourself. Just a gorgeous little, beautiful, scenic town. And then afterwards, we'll go over to another place, another town, and we will see the World War II American Cemetery. Now, from my understanding, this is an American and a Sicilian World War II cemetery. So I know there's a lot of Sicilians, locals. You may all be interested in that. And then when we get into Ostia, we will have a farewell dinner in a local restaurant, which is your time to say goodbye to all the wonderful friends that you've met, like-minded on this amazing trip. So I know I talked a lot about what makes this an interesting trip. Going to Umbria and Tuscany in a week and popping over to the beach, this is just an amazing itinerary in itself. And it's not something that's it requires 2 weeks. It's something that you can just incorporate into your Italian trip any way you see fit. I'm here. Your other travel agents at Travel Central, if you're working with someone else, can always help you design around this trip also. But it's really about this new choice touring. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Normally, a traditional escorted tour is we all move as one. It starts at 7 in the morning and it ends sometimes at 8 o'clock at night. You know, your hotels are a little outside. You have to Uber or take a taxi in. This is not at all what this is all about. This is really about the ability to have the transportation taken care of for you, getting you out to all these places that you can't get to traditionally, all of them by trains. And those trains take time. Having a tour director, they end up, you know, going and getting the hotel keys for you. So when you walk off your coach, they hand you the keys. You're already checked in. That takes time, as you know. And there's your key, Lietta. Go into your room. Your luggage is always already in there. Our bus driver has already put all of our luggage into our room, so we don't even have to load up and pack up any of that stuff. All these things take time away from your trip. If you try to do something like this on your own, you'd be fighting parking. You can't get into these villages, you know what I mean? Like, how do you get there? Where do you park? Is this the place that we should eat, or should we try and find another place? A missed opportunity for a great meal because we didn't plan it correctly. Not knowing these beautiful historical spots along the way, or a ruin on the side of the road. All of these things will be taken care of for you, and saving you time and really letting you get to relax and immerse yourself into the region, and give you the flexibility to be independent. That's what really speaks to me. I like to be, if I'm going from A to B, I like somebody to take care of my bags for me and check me into my hotel. I like to stop along the way, like I said, absolutely. But in the evening, I want to be able to go off and do my own thing. I may not want to eat a lot. I may want to go have a cocktail outside. I may want to walk down the beach. I want to be able to do these things that speak to me, and create my own experiences independent from a more traditional escorted tour. Plus, those tours that I'm talking about, the choice tours, you do not have to pre-book those. And that's really cool because, I mean, I've been on a river cruise where they have that same sort of multiple options to do during the day. I may think I want to do this, but now I have these great new best friends and they're off going to do this, so now I want to do that. And you have that flexibility to change your mind on those tours. You can pre-book them if you want, but you can also change them or book them on the tour. There's plenty of room for all of us to do whatever we want. Now, this is what is included in this trip. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is Travel Central has a bonus for us, and that is a free pre or post night in Ostia. So if you are going to fly in, let's say to Rome, I strongly suggest that you do a pre-night so you can relax, get over your jet lag, and spend the day running around Ostia, going to those ruins and doing whatever you want. And then at 5 o'clock in the evening, we all meet, we all go to dinner in Ostia. Or you could pop it in at the end of your trip or not take it at all. It's totally up to you. But this trip to Umbria and Tuscany is 8 days and 7 nights of hotels. All of the touring and the complimentary choice excursions, they're all included. You will, I've mentioned, have the tour director, regional guides, and myself all throughout the trip. It comes with 7 breakfasts, a lunch, and 2 dinners. Now, again, these choice tours, they have food. Those will be included also. So any food that you saw on the choice touring will be included. It includes all the transportation. You can include and should include, obviously, travel insurance, and we have a COVID protection there. Myself and your advisor can go over that with you. Deposits are only $250 per person to hold your space. Balance isn't due until July 11th. The price is currently today, and they are limited, are $3,039 per person based on 2 in a room. 3 people want to share a room, it's $3,013. And if you are a solo traveler like myself, it's $3,516. So that is a great price, especially if you're traveling with friends, which I will have a friend with us on this trip. She has her own room. I just prefer to have my own room. And for $500, not a problem. I want my own room.
Leanna,
Yeah.
Leanna, before we go to the peace of mind, on the choice excursions that you get, how many, I know it's an either or situation, like you have to pick whether you're gonna go golfing or whether you're gonna go painting, but is that daily you have a different choice, or some days you actually have a plan and then other days it's daily? I mean, other days it's choice.
No, I don't know if no is the right answer. One day in Spoleto, you have 3 choices. And those are the 3 choices that you can make. You have to pick one of them. And then when you're in Sienna, you have 2 days of choice tours. Each day has 3 touring options, and you pick one of those. And like I said, you can pick it in advance, or you can pick it that day or the day before. You just have to tell the tour director which one you want. Is that what
Basically,
you
each
asked?
day you have one choice and you choose between the 2 or 3 that you have a choice.
No,
Okay.
one choice. Yeah.
And then let me ask you this, and I don't know, and maybe we don't know off the top of our head, but is Globus still offering the early booking discount if you book by a certain date?
No, currently today it's the deposit is $250, and
No, I was
that's
like
what it is.
the early booking discount, where sometimes I give
Yes,
like
it's
7%
gone.
off.
That ended. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Go ahead and finish.
Okay, great. All right. So Globus Family of Brands has peace of mind travel. You just anything that you book, you can lift and move it to any other tour date that you may want, as long as it's done before 90 days of the trip. And traditionally, that's when the final payment would be due. So you can change and cancel your trip 90 days before final payment or before your trip. Just to give you an idea of what the accommodations, the hotels in these little towns that we're staying in look like, I won't go into too much detail, but they're center 4-star hotels. So this is Ostia, and you know, it's right on the beach, right in front of it. That's the marina, and then the beach is right in front of you. We'll be spending 2 nights there. Again, remember, we'll be able to give you 1 pre or post night, up to you to decide, take it or leave it. In Spoleto, exciting. This is a former convent historical hotel. So I love this. If you can't find me, if I'm missing, I'm going to be sitting right over at that table over there with some local wine. You can come join me. I'll be right over there. See, right there. And this will be our home for 3 days, 2 nights. And then in Sienna, it's really, really important to be city center in this town. And so we have this 4-star hotel, and it's just about a 5-minute walk until you are absolutely in the center of everything. Here's an example of if you wanted to come before the trip, if you wanted to go to Rome, for $1,126 per person. What would include that would be round trip transfers, 3 nights in a really, really nice hotel, the Star Hotels Metropole, and you have a local host. So your local host will be there to help you with dining arrangements, tell you places to go, things to do. They're actually going to be stationed in your hotel for you to, almost like your own concierge. So on the 1st of September, If this is what you would like to do, you can transfer from the Rome airport to your hotel and meet your host. The next day, you will have a full day Rome tour to include the Vatican Museum, St. Peter's Square, going to the Colosseum, seeing the Trevi Fountain, and the Pantheon. And there'll be a lunch included in there. On the third day, this is, again, speaking to us independent folks, you have the whole day free. Now, that's when your host can go ahead and give you ideas of where to go and what to do, or, you know, anything that you would prefer to do. And then you will meet us at the hotel.
Well, thank you.
So, go ahead.
If someone asked the question, this is being recorded. It will be sent out by email to everyone who has signed up for the travel talk today. In addition, one of the most important things that we have found in 2022 is that we are your travel resource. There are so many different things going on in the travel industry, but that's what we pride ourselves on, keeping up with what's going on and making sure our travelers, when they're ready to travel, we have the information and things that we can provide to them to make their travel seamless, safe, and fun. And fun is the key word here. And finally, just a quick thank you for joining us. I don't see any other questions, so if you want to go ahead and turn to the next page, Leetta. Thank you. If there's any more questions, fantastic. If not, we'll be emailing you tomorrow morning, first thing, so you can see the recording and get any other questions. Obviously, here's Leetta's direct dial number as well as the office's number. So we thank you again for joining us. Leetta, any final passing words? If not, we'll go ahead and end the meeting.
Nope, I just want to make sure everybody knows that space is limited, and it's just a wise decision to come join me. Bring $250 holds your spot, and then we just count down to eating in Umbria and Tuscany.
Okay, thank you, everyone.